Hello, coolers. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to the home of everything Barcelona. In this episode, we are going to be focusing on two things. Firstly, we start with 5 talking points from that disappointing 3-3 draw against Inter Milan yesterday. A very costly night for us, no doubt. We are going to be discussing on 5 interesting talking points from that game. Then to conclude this episode, we are going to be discussing about Xavi. What next now for manager Xavi and his expensively assembled Barcelona team? Of course, Barcelona, as we all know, are on the brink of another early Champions League exit. We are going to be discussing on that. So guys, before we get right into it, please do ensure to subscribe if you haven't. Give the video a like and please watch the video right up to the very end. So going straight into the 5 talking points of yesterday's disappointing draw, Barca are on the brink. That's the first talking point. Barcelona's Y3-3 draw with Inter means that we are still in the Champions League, but a big but realistically not for a very much long time. Inter Milan will qualify if they beat the group's whipping boys Victoria Pleasant next time out. The game is an early kickoff, which means Barca could be gone by the time they take on the Camp Nou pitch against Bayern Munich. It was a chastening night for us after a summer spending spree that brought so much hope and expectations to this team. Of course, there had even been talk that Barca could really challenge for the title, but they now look destined to go to another Europa League. Barca have had their moments in Europe this season and their fair share of bad luck. So much bad luck. Xavi said after the game that the competition has been cruel to Barcelona and also the injuries. A tough group, no doubt. Individual errors and poor refereeing have all proved costly for us. Yet the simple truth is that Barca haven't been good enough. We haven't been good enough again, and having won just one of our 4 group stage games so far simply do not deserve to go through. We don't deserve. So this result will also have a far-reaching implication for us, not least financially, with early estimates claiming Barca will lose around 20 million euros from not making it out of this group. Then the second talking point, spotlight on Piqué and Busquets. The spotlight will be very much on veterans Gerard Piqué and Sergio Busquets after high-profile mistakes they made. Barcelona were 1-0 up and in good shape when Piqué made the kind of error that leaves you rather speechless. The centre-back had played everyone onside and then stepped up, completely unaware of Nicolo Barella, who stole in and crashed home an equalizer despite the best efforts of Xavi to stop it. More mistakes followed as Lautaro Martinez and Robin Gosens scored for Inter. Busquets in particular was guilty of giving the ball away from the second goal. Marc-Andre ter Stegen was also needed to pull off a string of fine saves to prevent the host from netting even more. Piqué is only playing because of injuries of Ronald Araujo, Koundé and Andres Christensen, and his performance showed exactly why. You suspect this might have been his last ever appearance in Europe's top competition too. Xavi has made it clear this season that he is not banking on Piqué and Alba, but has maintained or have remained adamant that Busquets is and will continue to be a key player for him. Will that now change after this result? Let's wait and see. Then the third talking point. What does Xavi see in Marcos Alonso? That's a big question, right? Another question a lot of people will be wondering is, what exactly does Xavi see in Alonso? The Chelsea man was brought in on a free transfer in the summer, but was so poor again on Wednesday and is looking an increasingly curious signing. Alejandro Balde was benched on a Champions League night once more, but did come on second half. Unsurprisingly, he made an impact and you couldn't help to wonder why he didn't start the game. You suspect Xavi went for experience, particularly as he had filled a patched up back line in such a crucial match, but Balde has been one of the revelations of the season and has not let Xavi down any time. Then the next talking point, Lewandowski back in the goals. There aren't many crumbs of comfort that Barca fans can take from this game, but the sight of Robert Lewandowski getting back on the score sheet was certainly one. The Poland international had gone 2 whole games without a goal, a veritable drought for a man of his quality, but did not give it up against Inter. He was heavily marked all night long, but still scored twice and did his very best to give the host hope of a comeback. It wasn't to be, but the sight of Robert Lewandowski scoring in the 82nd minute and then again in stoppage time and urging his teammates back to restart quickly was heartening. Barcelona's morale will need lifting ahead of El Clasico, but Lewandowski's great performance will give the team optimism they can beat Los Blancos at the Bernabeu again. The Poland international has already admitted that he can't wait to play in El Clasico, and there is no doubt a fired-up Lewandowski will give Los Blancos plenty to think about. Then the next big thing, the next big question, can Barcelona recover for El Clasico? Of course, heading into the Bernabeu after a poor result in Europe is really not the best way to prepare for one of the biggest games of the season. Xavi will certainly have, his work cut out, rousing his troops after such a demoralizing result, which showed that his team is still some way off competing with Europe's best. There are other competitions, La Liga, Copa del Rey, Supercopa. We have to insist, persist, believe, said the Barca boss after the game. And for all Barcelona's European troubles, Xavi's side still haven't lost in the league and have only conceded one goal. There's also hope that Jules Koundé may be back, which would be a huge boost for us. The downside is that Barca haven't looked great since international break and may be banking on the old clinch about form going out of the window in a derby. Yeah, the win would move Barcelona 3 points clear of Real Madrid and prove some consolation for coolers. Lose and suddenly an October fixture list that includes games against Villarreal, Athletic, Bayern and Valencia looks very daunting indeed. Then on to the next story of discussion. It is the Europa League at best for us again this season, unless by some miracle the footballing gods are smiling on Barcelona. But for Robert Lewandowski, the Blaugrana would be out of the Champions League already, but his incredible late header to salvage a point gives Xavi and co the most minuscule ray of hope to hold on to. So where did it all go wrong? Despite having the vast majority of possession, particularly in the opening 45 minutes against Inter Milan, Barca made heavy weather of the 90 minutes. The Italians had a couple of decent chances to go ahead before Ousmane Dembele's strike sent the Camp Nou into a rapture. Indeed, Inter Milan, despite being outplayed for long periods as they had been in the San Siro, looked the more dangerous team. Were it not for the woodwork and the strong arms of Marc-Andre ter Stegen, the Catalans would have been chasing the must-win game even before half-time. As it stands, Xavi's persistence at playing at an all-out attack eventually paid off before the break. Then it all fell apart again. One has to doff the cap to the coach to a certain extent, as his selection meant that Inter were pinned back, often against their will, for virtually the entire half. In a sense, it's difficult to be critical of a coach that lays it on the line in the hour of need, win or bust or no mistake. In fact, if you look at all of Barca's Champions League matches in 2022-23, the Blaugrana have taken the game to their opponents in every one. Personally, I would much rather that than the ultra cautious manner of the likes of Ernesto Valverde and others. However, it could be considered gung-ho, and as was seen once more, it won't always pay off. The measure mourned when Valverde, Setien and Koeman were in charge was a lack of entertainment. I would take the odd loss if it means I'm on the edge of my seat for 90 minutes or for 90% of the time. So the bottom line is that we are Barca and we have to be winning the big games. For one reason or another, Xavi has failed in the big Champions League match this season, and that's not good enough. It is worth remembering too, he has and will continue to make mistakes, but that in terms of selection, tactical acumen and other factors, I would actually contend that as someone who is still very much learning his trade on the job, he should be allowed to make those mistakes. How the hell is he meant to learn and progress as a coach otherwise? And if not Xavi, then who? Tell me. Whatever the coach does or doesn't do right or on the night, he can't legislate for schoolboy errors like Piqué made, and that shouldn't pin on him. Like it or not, Xavi's Barca are still far from the team we want to expect, and perhaps we have to accept that Europa League is our level at present. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.